Hey guys, how are you? I have watched a new movie. I'm loving this. This is great. I'm getting the opportunity to watch more movies, and it's just fantastic. The movie that I watched was Robot Carnival. Let me see if I can get it up. Yes, Robot Carnival is the movie that I saw, and I really enjoyed it. It really felt to me a lot like heavy metal. It felt a lot like heavy metal, little stories, little vignettes that really wasn't connected to anything, but it's all done with the theme of robots and robot personalities. A lot of them had this whole thing going on with sort of like a robot turning into a human being. So there's also like the idea of the humanity being brought out of these robots. Very interesting concepts. I really enjoyed that aspect. I would say that the first group of stories really felt like it was more like a silent film because it was very, very, very visual and less about talking and dialogue and story. So it was a visual story, not much of a dialogue story. The visual storytelling was definitely key, then some dialogue with lots of visuals as well, and then it went back to sort of the silent movie visuals. Very interesting, and I actually liked it. There were a few vignettes that weren't my favorite, but then there were some that really stood out and made a big difference. This also reminds me of something that was on Disney Plus this year called Visions. I think they did one last year that was called, it was just called Visions. And the one that I was able to see was Visions 2, and it was really wonderful. It was about 9 stories of different animations set in the Star Wars world, and it was really fantastic. I enjoyed it so much. Just odd stories I would have never imagined to be Star Wars stories, so I really enjoyed them quite a bit. And so back to Robot Carnival. Let me just tell you a little bit about the movie. First, I want to look at the IMDb. So the IMDb says it's, of course, Robot Carnival, released in 1987. It was an hour and 30 minutes long, and it's unrated. And basically, really, it should be like, I think it should be PG-13, if you ask me. That would be the perfect rating for this movie because there are some moments where it's a little bit salacious. It's just a strange moment, but it only happens for a moment. So I would be very leery of showing this to really young kids, unless you're cool with it. I mean, I've seen worse, definitely at younger, but every parent has to use their discretion with this one. Okay, so the opening of the movie starts from about 44 seconds in. A young man has found a flyer for the Robot Carnival, and instead of being excited by it, which I thought was what he was initially, he's really like freaked out, and he goes to the neighboring town, I suppose the town that he lives in, and he tells everyone, about this. Now, they don't let you hear the actual dialogue. It's all so it's really great, and it's so cute, but it's a little bit on the crude side. He gets everybody to lock themselves up in their own homes. They're totally frightened out of their minds. Well, the robot carnival comes, and it looks like it's gonna be fantastic. They have, musicians, dancers, and all sorts of things, and firecrackers. But while they're doing all that, this carnival pretty much destroys the entire town with all of their regalia. And so by the end of it, there's their troop just demolishing this poor town, and the people are sitting on the sidelines waiting for this terrible thing to pass through so they can start to rebuild their worlds again. It's really dark humor is what you would call this, I suppose. And it was enjoyable, but it's also sad to see that these people, these poor people, are going to have to rebuild their worlds from scratch. So that was pretty interesting for the first one. All right, the second one is called Starlight, and it is really cute. It is really cute. Let me see if I can get it right. It's really cute. This is one of the cute ones, and these two girls are hanging out together, and they discover that the blonde girl, this is her boyfriend. But it turns out this guy was dating the young girl with the black hair, or the brown hair earlier, and had given her a little charm. And unfortunately, he's a playboy, and so yeah, she's really broken up about it, and it's really heartbreaking to see that. But there's a robot at the carnival that they are at, and if I'm not mistaken, there's actually a person underneath here. They don't really show that to you in the beginning, but at some point during the story, every now and then they will show you a glimmer of his face. So it's kind of interesting, and so I'm not sure if this actually happened in reality or if this is a fantasy element that she has brought into the story. She meets this robot who protects her and teaches her how to fly, and saves her from this big giant robot that's trying to capture her. It turns out that, she meets here's the guy in real life who's actually um gonna be, I guess, her boyfriend from now on. Really cute. It's adorable story, and I did like it. That's one of the better ones that they had. The next one is called Cloud, and it's basically about a robot that's walking, and he's he's walking through clouds, and the clouds sometimes are in the shapes of people, and sometimes it's in the shape of an atom bomb. It's really cute. But I think in this particular case, it's meant to showcase the music and the art. It's cute. It's not really that detailed, but it's more about listening to the music and watching the play of all these clouds that are in the sky as the robot is walking by. So I enjoyed that one quite a bit. I thought it was really good. Now, the one that I really there's like two of them really stand out to me, and this is Deprive, and it is really, really good. Well, there's a city, and the city has a combination of both human and robots. They both live together peacefully, and sometimes, in many situations, the robots and the people are couples. I suppose romantic couples, and it's not totally clear that this robot is a romantic partner for this young girl, but they are extremely close, and he is trying to protect her from the onslaught of these strange creatures that have shown up, and they're all robots as well. This robot attack on a coexisting robot world is quite brutal, and very few survivors. They capture the girl, but the one thing between the girl and the robot is that she knows that he wears this emblem here, and so that's her way of identifying the robot. This robot is trying to find her, and so goes on this whole intense adventure, and it's really a lot of fun. It's very Super Saiyan, I guess. When you have, the small character just go out and just wreak havoc over these huge bulking machines, and it's really quite awesome to watch it. It's really cool, and it's one of my favorite parts of this movie. Just love the action in it and the heroism. Very nice. And here's another scene of him, doing his thing, destroying robots that have come in and attacked this poor defenseless city. Now, at some point during the story, he turns into a human. which is I again, I this is one like a common theme that they've been doing in this movie. He gets captured, and this guy here is the ultimate bad guy that he has to fight against, and which he does. They have this really big epic fight, and it's just wonderful. And he, of course, becomes the victor and takes the girl away with him. You know, we always love great romantic stories of heroes and such, so I did love that. So the next one is called Franken Gears. It is really one of those silent ones where you're just hearing sounds, you're hearing Foley, but you're not hearing actual words. You're seeing the emotional aspect of everything that's going on, but no words are being spoken. So we have this mad scientist here who is trying to create a robot, and he's just doing everything he can, running around. It is quite unfortunate that he dies by his own creation, and so that's pretty sad. So, but it's also quite entertaining. It's not the best one, but I do admire the storytelling that was being done here. So, you know, kudos to that. I think after quite a few watches, it'll probably become something I really like because it does have charm to it. And there is a moral story about playing God, and also what could happen if you mess around with mother nature, or the natural cause of things. Sometimes it can backfire, and in this case it does, unfortunately for this scientist. I do love that. It's a classic tale. So I think the one that's my very, very favorite is called Prescience, and it is about a man. It starts off really interesting. It doesn't start off with the story at all. Um, it starts off with a robot man being terrorized by kids. It's to show you that the advancement in technology for robotics are is at a very, very high rate in this movie. They're at a place in their society that they can make robots that look like humans and have human attributes. So that's the setup sort of for the story. Now, when we get into the real story, there's a man who has a family, has a young daughter, and has a wife. There's a small commentary about his wife, and his wife is a career woman who wants to, you know, get out there, and she's really good at her job, but he feels like maybe she's too harsh. She's not giving him the enough love and attention. So he has resorted to make his own female. So he goes to do work on his hobbies, and he's created this female robot that is absolutely gorgeous. She's just adorable. He's doing it because he's craving love and something softer, some femininity, and he's put all of this into this female robot. She has come alive, so he has brought her to life. And when he brings her to life, she starts to respond to him in a way that perhaps a real person would respond, asking for a little bit more from him, some warmth. She wants some warmth from him too. She wants to know who she is. She wants him to name her. It's very interesting, the psychological banter between the two of them. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough to give you the feeling that, oh, somebody was really thinking about, you know, high level concepts with this particular piece. And ultimately, he gets to be afraid of her, and it's not the afraid of her like scary, she's going to hurt him or anything like that. He's afraid that she wants more from him than he can give. He has resigned himself to be a husband and a father, which is probably the correct choice to make, right? And this creation of his is desiring a lot more than he can give emotionally. So he decommissions her. When he gets to be an old man, He's sitting down in his rocking chair. All of his life has been passed him by. He's done with work. He's retired. He sees her again and he apologizes. It's not really her. It's all in his imagination. He's imagining to see her because this is what she looks like in real life. She's been sitting at the same place where he just decommissioned her for years and years ago. It's interesting the way he's lamenting the fact that he could not be that person for her, and he's also lamenting the fact that this is a project, this is an idea, something that he wanted that he had to give up ultimately. His last it's sort of like his last moments on earth. He sees her and goes away with her, and that is his sort of his him ascending to the next plane. It's really sad and kind of it's not the most happy thing ever, but it's such a beautiful story. I liked it, and I thought there was definitely something. It was too short, is what I'm thinking. It was way too short. So there was definitely something there to snack on mentally. Like this is a really great idea though, and I really wouldn't mind seeing something expanded like this. Someone who was made a creature and has had to give up their dream in order to take care of realistic problems and situations, like take care of a family, make sure that there's food on the table, and make sure that the people in their lives are getting the love and care that they need. So it is quite interesting, and it looks like at least by the end of the story, his relationship with his wife is a little bit different, but he does cherish sitting on the porch, dozing off and being in his own imagination. So that's pretty sweet. I loved it. It touched me in the heart, guys. It touched me in the heart. Let's see if there's any more that I want to discuss. There's right. So yes, there's a Tale of Two Robots where we have a man who is sort of an insane person who is who has a giant robot that's destroying a town. And then we have the local villagers who are have decided to come together to make a robot to fight against that robot. And so we have two robots fighting. The city is almost totally demolished once they're done. And it's really funny. It's more hilarious than anything. It's more played for jokes. But again, the robots are a means to cause destruction. What's the next one? It's cute. It's not my favorite, but it is cute. All right, the next one is also not quite my favorite, but it's again cute. It's very much like the Roadrunner. It's a chase and follow type of storyline. We have another theme that's going on, which is robots coming in to destroy an entire human city. That's the setup in this storyline. Of the survivors, we have one human male person that's on the red bike, and then we have a robot that kind of resembles a chick. The name of this segment is called Chicken Man and Redneck Nightmare. So it is the world that they live in is truly a nightmare world and has become inundated with robots, giant robots, and all sorts of weird robot creatures. And it's very interesting. It's not pretty much my taste at all, and it may be going too fast. Some of the scenes go by really really fast. I did think it did have a little bit of charm to it. And finally, the end is really interesting because it's the robot carnival again. It has left this orb, and these people are like, "Oh wow, this is a really interesting orb. What is it?" And the family sits down, gathers around the table, and they look at this orb. And within the orb is, let's see if I have a picture of it, of this beautiful little dancer. She's so cute, and she's spinning and dancing, and they're all entertained. And then at first, there's a few little sparks that look like firecrackers going off, and then it just totally demolishes the house. So, that is the causal accident that happens every time the robot carnival comes into town. It's very funny, but also, again, dark humor. So that's it, guys. I am so glad I was able to catch this. I've been hearing about it all this time. I thought I did see it a long time ago, but I don't think I may have turned it on and then something must have happened. I didn't get to see it. So this is actually my first time seeing it in its full regalia, if you will, and it's like, it's not bad, not bad. I enjoyed myself with it. If I could give it a score, I would a 6.8. My favorite, of course, is Prescience and Deprive and Starlight Angel. Those are my 3 favorites. Yes, let me know what you guys think of Robot Carnival. If I'm missing anything, if I'm not missing the beauty in something, do let me know. So that's it, guys. I am gonna leave you, but I hate saying goodbye, but I bid you adieu, guys, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream. And I really want to thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you. Take care of yourself.